Hi, I'm James and I'm the Admissions Coordinator for Maths at Oxford. This is a quick video about personal statements for mathematics. So it can be tricky to know how to get started. I've got some questions that you might like to ask yourself to get some ideas about how to get started with your personal statement. You could start by thinking about maths topics that you've enjoyed studying at A-level or equivalent, or back at GCSE or equivalent. Maybe there's a particular thing that you really liked studying. There's lots of resources out there to find out what sort of maths you learn at university, and also ways you can find out a little bit more about particular things you're interested in. So if you're interested in differential equations or complex numbers, then you might like to search the internet for resources to find out just a little bit more about your favourite topics. So you can tell us about maths topics that you're interested in, and maybe maths topics that you're looking forward to studying if you've seen a little bit of what might be coming up at university. And I suppose the big question is, why are you going to do well on our course? And you can tell us about your skills and your experience and how the things that you've done have prepared you for maybe 3 or 4 years of studying maths at university. This is quite a big question and we don't expect you to have all the answers, but it's something to think about as you get started. Okay, so you might tell us about maths that you're interested in, you might tell us about maths you've successfully done. There are some things that your personal statement's also suitable for. You could tell us about particular things we should know about your educational circumstances, or any extenuating circumstances you could mention in your personal statement. You could use it to draw attention to particular things about your application that you think are important. I thought it'd be fun to look back at my own personal statement from about 10 years ago, and here's what I found. My personal statement starts with an example of a maths problem I like that I'd solved, and I talk about in some detail how much I enjoy solving problems and what I'd learnt from doing this particular problem. I've got an example of some university level maths that I'd read a tiny bit about. In hindsight, I don't think I really understood the maths that I'd read that well at all. It's actually really hard to learn university level maths without the support of a university, and in some sense that's why you're thinking of applying for maths at university. I talked a bit about my favourite A-level topics and things I was good at school, and I think it's worth saying here that I have no work experience, and that hasn't stopped me yet. We don't take your work experience into consideration unless it's somehow relevant to the course, and it's your job to explain how it's relevant to the course. I've got one sentence that's not about maths in my personal statement, and that might be a bit extreme, but I now know that Oxford policy is that we won't take into consideration anything that's not related to our admissions criteria. So anything you tell us about extracurricular activities or other things that aren't related to the course, we won't take into consideration. We have admissions criteria, things we're looking for in our applicants to do with how well they're going to succeed on course, and if it's not related to those, we won't take into consideration. We know that you write one personal statement for 5 different universities. That might be a mix of subjects that you're applying for. So we know that you might be writing it for different audiences. And we know that at the end of the day, your personal statement is just one part of your application. If it's a choice between doing maths and writing about maths, I think I'd always recommend doing maths. Okay, I enjoyed looking back at my personal statement, and I hope you enjoy writing yours. Have a nice day.